Welcome, everyone, to the Wealth Connections Live show. Wealth Connections Live is your go-to live broadcast podcast for transforming networking into real results. Discover how to connect with dream clients, convey your message, and multiply your success with live, actionable, and straight from the heart. Connect, thrive, multiply. Tune in to turn your network into wealth. I am co-host, Chief Solutionist and Networking Innovator David Don Hobley, and in a moment you'll meet co-host, Digital Success Strategist and Networking Innovator Jay Ma, as we share heart-centered strategies and interview industry leaders in wealth building and connection. Up next with co-host Jay Ma is a man who embodies the word unstoppable, a veteran, an entrepreneur, an investor, a film producer, and a builder of empires in multiple industries. He is a Gulf War U.S. Army veteran who went from the military service to earning his MBA and then built Abelard Construction from his basement into a $173 million powerhouse in just under 12 years. He's the creator of the Storm Ventures Group, the author of the industry-shaping book Win the Game, and the founder of SVG University, which has trained thousands of contractors across the country. His work has been featured on the Grant Cardone Show and recognized across national business media and entrepreneurial leadership platforms. Today, he is the visionary founder and CEO of My Ventures Group and the powerhouse facility known as MVG Studios, a state-of-the-art 4-acre media and entrepreneurial campus featuring 7 film sets, a full stage with LED wall, podcast studios, a green room, a speaker's lounge, and seating for over 250 rising leaders and contractors. Today, he is the visionary founder and CEO of My Ventures Group and the powerhouse facility known as MVG Studios, a state-of-the-art 4-acre media and entrepreneurial campus featuring 7 film sets, a full stage with LED wall, podcast studios, a green room, a speakeasy lounge, and seating for over 250 rising leaders and creators. And now he's launched something truly game-changing for the property world, the Property Boardroom, the nation's premier platform where property managers, board leaders, HOA presidents, and building owners connect, learn, and lead, and elevate their influence. He is also the executive producer of the nationwide docuseries Unconstitutional, An American Story. Please help me welcome an incredible entrepreneur, veteran, industry titan, and one of the most forward-thinking innovators in America today, Anthony Delmedico.
Hey guys, welcome.
Thank you so much, Anthony.
To the Property Boardroom.
Yeah, so PBR, can you tell us what that is?
Yeah, so we're sitting here at an event. Well, it's the close of an event that we had here today with a lunch and learn for HOA, COA board leaders, property managers, LCAMs, and building owners, and a whole lot of property managers, with a curriculum covers insurance, finance, legal, claims, and cost-effective building solutions. So we had a short curriculum today. We're winding down. They're out there playing. A lot of them are playing golf out there and doing some networking. But yeah, we bring these folks in. I do these in different cities to really help people get connected on the property decision. Some of the property leaders in the space of HOA communities, property management, board leaders, building owners, and this is a smaller event today. We had about 60 or 70 here seated. But we're coalescing or uniting the tribe, so to say, for our annual conference and trade show expo, which will be at the Tampa Convention Center, November 2026, where we'll have a couple thousand.
Yeah.
You got to get out in the streets. We go around the country and do a campaign, meet new folks, and bring them into the PBR. We call it the PBR Network or the Property Boardroom.
Property Boardroom. So I know some of our audience members have seen Anthony before. You were very popular on our last interview, and so there are some people who are brand new, maybe for the first time. They just are hearing this for the first time. Anthony, can you share with us, you started out as a kid, you did some small business, you served in our military, Army, then you built some multiple, state construction company, and looking back, was there a mindset shift or something that helped you along the way, a personal habit that made the biggest difference? in this
Yeah,
transition?
well, we're going way back. So I was probably an entrepreneur at a very young age, doing a Kool-Aid stand, stuff like that. I did the military after high school to pay for college. Got the MBA from University of Minnesota. Did 3 years in corporate America, but found out real quick that I'm an entrepreneur, not really an employee mindset. So, but I did enjoy my stint there for 3 years. And I fell into, by mistake, the insurance, what they call the insurance restoration industry, which has to do with a lot of properties. And so I was a contractor. I moved into the contracting space for 10 years, almost 12 years. Had brick and mortar contracting offices from Pasadena, California, to all the way to Virginia, to Florida. Ended up in Florida, kind of following the storm restoration model, which is hurricanes. And enjoyed that time, that 10, 12 years, but found out, I also wasn't a builder in my heart. I'm a marketing guy, so I'd find people that get that work done. But I like the marketing space, and so I moved, 15 years ago into the event and marketing and online training space. But then it was contractors, especially in the insurance restoration industry, and launched Win the Storm, which became one of the largest conference and trade show expos for folks trying to rebuild communities and contractors. And now we sold that here 2 years ago. And now here we are basically starting another one called the Property Boardroom, except now it's not contractors. It's what you saw here today, which are the actual property decision makers, board leaders, property managers, CAMs, building owners, all kinds of people that are making large decisions on properties. And I like that space. It seems like an underserved space in terms of education and networking. And I think you saw from today a lot of the questions and the folks that were here, there are a lot of folks that were excited and eager to learn about things that fall in their pain points of insurance, legal, finance, and cost-effective building solutions. So, we're excited for the annual show and to build a new tribe. And we do these once a week now, or once every couple of weeks across the country.
Wow, it's really nice meeting a lot of people today in the HOA Condo Association related roles. And especially here in Florida, we're like prone to storms and hurricanes and all that. So as in your experience, what are some of the most overlooked risks that some of these board leaders and people maybe underestimate until it's too late?
Yeah, one thing that in this space, the HOA and condo board leaders, remember they're volunteer positions. So they haven't ran contracting companies, or you heard from attorneys today and some public adjusters, or dealt with, a lot of them are newer volunteer positions, all suddenly put in a position where they're making, major safety decisions for storm preparation, making multi-million-dollar contracting decisions, which is why a lot of them use these property management companies that are a little more seasoned. And you can see the mixture of the audience today between some of the, there's a couple owners of property management companies here. You had some board leaders and different property managers, all from different areas, but all eager to consume knowledge to help them, move up in some of that ability to manage and lead their properties better.
Definitely very helpful, especially bringing all the people in these important roles together to make these really sometimes very costly and cost-effective decision-making process. And it also fits, and they get some continuing education credits.
Yeah, like at this event here, the attorney can stamp them with continuing education credits for the legal part of it. So that's important. Sometimes CAMs, board leaders, even realtors have to get us, they got to do some kind of continuing education credits. We throw that in the mix to help them get some of those credits done every year. But I think most of them come from the networking.
Yeah, and it's really fun. You get fed, and there's some golf. So what a fun place and environment that you created.
Top Golf works well for that.
Right?
So you get a little audio-visual room like here. This holds 80 to 100.
Yeah.
And then you can float out to the golf base for networking. So you get a little 2-for-1.
Yeah. So in the storm restoration industry, being so it's quite unpredictable at times, and as captured in your piece with the Win the Storm book, how do you build a business model that thrives in chaos rather than, like, most people don't really want to go into this kind of business and go into the chaos rather.
Well, on the contracting side, when I was in the contracting side, they call them storm chasers. Truth is, they're first responders. So you got to show up if you're in a business of helping people after storms as a contractor. You're really showing up to some of the areas of flood, fire, hurricane, tornado, hailstorms or whatnot, and helping people out as far as rebuilding their communities. And in that process, you end up running into a whole lot of people. Sometimes they're in a canoe and they can't even get to their house, and you're showing up and you're helping really in a first responder situation, then move to contract. I mean, I love that. Ex-military.
Yeah.
That stuff always appealed to me.
Yeah.
Now, and that says as a insurance restoration contractor, now it's like fast forward, now here we are today talking to the actual property decision makers instead of the contractors about better preparing them for the same thing. And you saw today a Rolodex of players here, from attorneys to Western Alliance Bank that does loans to these type of folks, to some contractors and some even some engineers over here. And if those folks, again, which are board leaders, property managers, building owners, have that Rolodex, they can be better prepared to handle these storms, even if they don't like to deal with chaos. Some of us like to deal with chaos. Some people just say, hey, I need people, who do I call when a chaos happens? And it's really about connecting them with the right service providers here today, which are some of the sponsors you saw here today speaking, and knowing that they can rely on that person, when something happens. And you really want to get that Rolodex in advance. That's to help the folks that don't manage chaos well, you know?
I just had an aha moment from your experience in ex-military to entrepreneurship, which is solving people's problem and leading people in these, bringing people together. So in entrepreneurship, they say that the bigger the problem you can solve, the bigger the impact, and also the
sometimes the more revenue you can make. Solve big global problems, you get big revenue.
So I know today there were some presentations on sometimes when there's these HOAs and condo associations, maybe some they are working on a deficit or funds that they're working on reserves or denied or delayed insurance claims, or maybe property. So if you were to consult a board right now, what are some quick actions? What are 3 quick actions you would have them do in the next 90-day period?
Well, I'd say number 1, attend one of these events so you get the right players, because a lot of this stuff you can't do on your own. You got to know who to call. So you should have in a Rolodex. You should have a policyholder attorney, possibly a public adjuster, a pro property friendly engineer is helpful, because a lot of the big ones work for the carriers. Somebody to help navigate on the contracting side through the claims process, and sometimes these people all work together. You had some infrared, the drone report company that does the infrared current condition reports. So all these people play a part in being able to allow these property managers and property leaders to be able to pick up the phone and solve a problem. So I say having a Rolodex of those people that are reliable is important. That's one of the reasons we do these events. Number 2, as far as this, in the storm restoration industry, as far as that, be aware of what's going on for storm awareness. We're in hurricane season. It's not yet November 30th, so we're still technically in peak hurricane season. Jamaica just got clobbered.
Right.
These things can come out of nowhere, and so part of this is preparation. Be prepared. Again, I think that goes back to having the right Rolodex of folks in your network.
Yeah, that was one of my other takeaways today. Someone mentioned that too. A lot of times it's about just knowing the right people, especially in these times when.
Oh, and a third one, have your property. You heard a common theme today, whether it's an engineer, a public adjuster, a contractor. Have somebody that understands how to do a pre-inspection of your property, documenting where you're sitting today. These guys all offer to do it for free today. Think about that. So you have a photographic essay of your property, and it's called a current condition report. Having that before a storm hits is extremely important, whether it's done by any one of those people properly, because then if you have a claim later, you have everything documented as to the condition of that property. It helps the claims process move a lot faster. Everybody should be hopefully connecting with these service providers that offered that and taking them up on that, because that's crucial later on in the claims process. And usually people don't do that until afterwards, and now they're trying to prove points, and wear and tear versus storm damage and all that other good stuff. So.
And I also picked up a little bit about the public adjuster side, and these are people who have come from working on the other side, and now it's working for the public more versus some of the companies. So you're really connecting with some really experienced people who have the heart to help people.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
Yeah, a lot of people, when they hear the word adjuster, they assume that works for the carrier. Like my friend over here, he used to work, he's not in the podcast, but he used to work as an independent adjuster. That's on the carrier side. So he brings a lot of knowledge to these guys with some new technology that he's going to be showing some of these contractors today. But for the for the HOA board leader, property manager, CAM, or somebody that's managing properties and communities, the public adjuster is there for them versus the insurance company. That's a key difference. Some people don't even know what a public adjuster is.
Yeah, I didn't either.
But they're out there. There's a segment of them out there, and they work primarily for the on behalf of the property owners.
Yeah.
Yep.
And surrounding myself also in this environment, I'm also picking up a lot of that. Like Anthony said, I didn't know what a public adjuster was before.
Well, now you do. Now you got one you can call.
Right?
And they'll work residential or commercial claims, either or. So.
Yeah. So I know that you've led, like in the Army, you were a leader, and then you led you were a leader in your construction company. And so in terms of leadership, you put together this event, which requires, to me, a lot of leadership skills, like all the pieces that come together. So in terms of leadership quality, what leadership quality do you believe now is non-negotiable in terms of like managing any project?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Well, I think, as an early adult, I went to military right after high school, before college. So in the military, especially infantry, army, you're going to learn some leadership skills, even on the enlisted side. Even I was only a specialist E4. But when I got out, I went through the OCS Green to Gold, went through officer candidate school. So I became a second lieutenant after 3 years enlisted while I was going to college in the National Guard. So then I got probably the best, most advanced leadership training in the world is the military's officer candidate school. Very strict, attention to detail type of management. Then after graduating, with the MBA, then I moved into the corporate world. And one of the challenges I had, I'll tell you what, is going from the military and then military leadership to marketing management, or what you call corporate America. And that wasn't an easy transition for me, because in the military, people have to salute you and call you sir and say, yes, sir, we'll get it done by 5 o'clock today.
Yeah. You
don't get that in the civilian world. And now you got to actually motivate people. They don't just follow direct orders. And so that's a transition, I think, for anybody coming out of the military. And you made it, and now you're in the corporate America. Now in the entrepreneurial space, after I left corporate America, now you're talking about small business, startups. That's what I've been doing for the last 20 years. Started companies, scaling them up, sold a couple of them, got lucky and sold one, which was the solar company. But anytime you're launching those businesses, now you're dealing with the whole, new employees. How do I answer the phone? What's the logo look like? And 10,000 other things to launch a business. What you saw today is very similar. We've been doing this for the last year now. I've been in the event conference space in this industry for the last 15 years. But in this particular niche of HOA property management, CAMs, building owners, that's a niche that I'm very familiar with. But I never did the conference trade show educational niche. So over the last year, that's been it's like starting a new business all over again. And so bringing these people together and sponsors it's always it's marketing and connectivity. But I'll tell you, when you can pick up the phone and call people and know who to call, it's a lot easier to bring things together. We use a lot of digital marketing. It'd be hard to find these HOA board leaders, CAMs, property managers to come into a lunch and learn event if we didn't have a campaign going. So we do a 50-mile radius campaign around a given city, and we start marketing this event 30 days in advance. And so I really enjoy digital marketing to reach new people. And if you got a curriculum that they like, they click, they come into your event, and now you're building a tribe, just like building a business, building a tribe, across the country for the larger event. But like anything else, it takes a lot of work. You got to be passionate about it. You got to pour some marketing into it, and it starts to come together over time. Every city we do one of these, we're building another chunk of the tribe nationwide. So after a year, you got a pretty healthy tribe to bring into the larger event. And that's kind of how I built Win the Storm, the old conference, and then sold that. We do it the same way here.
Yeah. So I know your experience in the digital marketing space, the military space, and now with this space here and the education and all coming together. And then now there's a lot of new developments in the AI space, the technology space, innovation all the time, and it's growing so fast. Do you have any advice for any some of these?
Yeah, I mean, I used a AI bot for the first time on my last event, because we had so many, people click on your campaigns and leads, they got to be reminded. So instead of having a human sit there and remind them and confirm their RSVP, we tried an AI bot called Donnie, and he's able to call 2,000 people and drop a voicemail in like 2 minutes.
Wow.
A human can't do that, and his voicemail is consistent. And if somebody asks him a question, he can respond with the correct event, date, and location. Now, humans can do that too, but they can't do 2,000.
Yeah.
And so I was impressed by that. So yeah, we're starting to incorporate AI bots in our digital marketing. That's good for, I know that's always advancing, but that was my first experience here this last month. So we're always looking at new stuff like that for sure.
Yeah. So definitely you're very innovative. You're adaptive. All these qualities that make a business successful. Like, what would be for newer, like as a female entrepreneur? And I know you've also helped a lot of youth and female entrepreneurs also. What would be your advice for newer entrepreneurs who want to start off in this day?
Find something you love to do, because everything you do is going to be painful as you grow it. And then very important, the first 3 people you hire to help you could be a college student, part-time intern, could be a telemarketer. It's not always a CFO or a sales manager. Sometimes you're those people matter. Meaning you got to find a right at those people, because one bad apple can destroy your business. Not only like do something wrong, but if they're just not the right fit, it'll cause a lot of drama and excess pain. And as an entrepreneur, you have only so much energy. So those first 3 people you hire around you, and again, it's not often strategic management positions. It's the first 3 people to help you. That could be your girlfriend or wife, could be your son, could be your so-and-so. If they're in it to win it, it's going to make that startup process a lot easier. But if you go through 13 to find those 3, there's a lot of pain in that. So you got to be careful about who those first 3 people are. From that, you can build anything with passion, as long as it has value to the marketplace.
Wow. And how do you actually let go of companies after they become like your baby? And I know you've managed like over 200 something employees at one time.
With my old construction company, I mean that was nationwide. That was a lot of headaches. And you get after 10 years, sometimes you get tired of it all. I call it the 10-year itch. And then when I launched SVG and Win the Storm, it was another 10 years. Now it's a bunch of contractors, and I had 21 employees, not 250, but at that time 250 was the construction company. Now 21, but sometimes your passion's not the same. And if you're not the same as the entrepreneur, you wake up one day and you're like, hopefully you can sell it, because not everybody can. I got lucky on a couple of my businesses. Not everybody buys your company. Hopefully you got it to a point where you can. But when you feel that passion kind of slowing down a little bit, you got to not necessarily always sell your business, but maybe get a new management team, maybe pass the baton to someone else. And I think I enjoy the startup, believe it or not, like the chaos. Starting something new, I got to start something new. Here we are again, starting something new. Hopefully this one now spurns into something 10 years from now, and I can sell the largest conference and trade show expo in the property decision space of what we just mentioned as our new audience. So
that's your vision.
That's the goal.
That's the goal.
That'll be the last one.
That's
good, but it's going to take a few years to build that up. Not 10, but 3.
So coming from, I guess, an employee side, I know there's also a lot of the people that I grew up with, that's all we know. We just work the 9 to 5 sort of. So do you really recommend someone who has been in the 9 to 5 industry to really look into entrepreneurship, considering that you're in this industry, shared of being in the chaos?
I think so. I think everybody's born an entrepreneur. We're creators. It doesn't matter what religion you are. I think God and creativity. We got a certain gift from my higher power to use our fingers and opposable thumbs in our prefrontal cortex, come up with an idea and create something. That's why we have cameras here and tables. Somebody thought about this and, hey, let's make a chair so I don't have to stand up on or sit on a rock anymore. I mean, this is all created by entrepreneurs. Sometimes out of pain and need, and sometimes out of desire for money. I think everybody has that. I think school, and I went through, like I said, I went through the college and the MBA program. I think school actually pulls that creativity out of a lot of kids, grown up and young adults, especially college. I mean, college people don't yell at me, but I'm just telling you. I'm telling you, as somebody who got an MBA degree, I said, what I do now is off passion, not off necessarily what I learned in college. Although there's some helpful, I learned how to talk. I learned some corporate talk on a higher level, but and I enjoy some of the things I did learn and the people I met there. But I think everybody has that in them. It just has to be sprung where they have to be exposed to entrepreneurship to get that fire. You know what I mean? And once that happens, that's inside everybody. Now, the little building blocks and things you need to grow that business, that comes through pain, trial, and error. And that's not something you can always learn in a book anyways. You just got to go through the pain.
And my other takeaway is if I had known someone like Anthony way before, years before, and I've attended a lot of these kinds of events and been exposed to more people and the network, and that there's possibilities and potential out there for doing other things. And I think that probably that transition would be easier. So maybe like your next education company is
entrepreneurship. Yeah, that one's coming too.
Yeah. So,
maybe I'll do that one after this one.
Yeah. So I now we're gonna wrap up.
Yeah, we got now. We believe it or not, we have another event coming in the same room, but it's claims professionals, not the board leaders and stuff. So now
what's
we're doing
coming
a
up
switcher.
next?
Yeah, we're gonna jump into some claims professionals discussions here and to show some new technology. You can't see them on the podcast here, but we got Scope Express. They got a new technology that helps solve some of these insurance problems we heard about today, where it's a lump sum bid estimating program that the carriers accept. And then we have another attorney speaking and another, a small group of contractors coming in that I got to go check on right now.
Awesome.
So I'm glad I have you guys today.
Yeah, thank you so
I
much
appreciate you
for
coming
doing
out.
this. And one last quick question to wrap up. What is next for you?
Oh, well, next is Texas next week.
Next.
Yeah, we're heading to Texas next week for an event.
And how do people find out more about that?
I would go to www.thepropertyboardroom.com. www.thepropertyboardroom.com. And that has all our events and then our annual conference show. And that's the best way to find me, because I'll be basically running across the country, spiking up more of these, and then building the tribe all through this next year. And that's the best way to find me.
And you get to play golf in the meantime, too.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for having us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, for being on our show. And if you'd like to connect with Anthony, we'll share the information down below. And we'll see you on the next live. And I'm hopeful to have Anthony back because he's always having some sort of
crazy stuff going on.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Thanks.
So
Thanks for having me. That's a booyah, baby.
Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Anthony Delmedico and our amazing co-host, Jay Ma. Thank you for joining Wealth Connections Live. We look forward to you joining us for the next episode. Hello, everyone. I am Chief Solutionist David Don Hobley with Wealth Connections Live, and we have a super treat for you today. Today, we have a really awesome guest that is going to deliver a whole lot of value to you. Joining us today is co-host and digital success strategist Jay Ma. She's with Anthony Delmedico, the founder and CEO of MVG at the Speakeasy Lounge and MVG Studios. Anthony is a Gulf War veteran turned MBA grad. Anthony built Abelard Construction from his basement to a $173 million empire in under 12 years. He's the mastermind behind Storm Ventures Group and the hit book, Win the Game. He's also created the groundbreaking SVG University, training thousands of contractors nationwide. Now, as the visionary of My Ventures Group, he's here to share alternative fix and flip options for wealth building. Grab your pencil and paper and get ready for insights that help you to connect, thrive, and multiply.